going to talk about is operational tasks in an organization. Okay. So see,
Yep.
there could be many of the operational tasks once you start to work for an organization. So it could be like, for example, you have one EC2 instance which is running on, and its storage is gonna be occupied. So what you need to increase the size of your EBS volume. So here the task is how to increase the size of EBS volume, right?
Yep.
This is what the task we need to perform. And basically not only into the Linux, okay? So we need to perform this in Linux and Windows both. Okay. So how will we doing that? Let's try to explore this. To do that, here we are. I'm on EC2 instance. Here I'll go and I'll be launching one EC2 instance. First, let me go. Let me say it. Any web server is my favorite one, the name which I used to give. Okay. And here, some voice is coming up from your side. Could you
Okay. I'll
please?
mute it.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So here, Amazon Linux, we can use, or any other operating system, whichever we want to do, we can use. Instance type, you'll find t2.micro. Key pair name, here I am. Okay, I have this key pair name, Abdul, which I got downloaded. As security group, I can use the one which I got created. One GP2 or GP3 I can use. And what I'll do, I will launch one EC2 instance. Okay. Now we have an EC2 instance which is running up. What I'll do, I'll just go and I will try to connect with this EC2 instance. To connect, I'll go here in key pairs. Putty. Login as EC2 hyphen user. Okay. So now what I need to do, I need to have a look. Okay. How many volumes are being attached? So if I just go to AWS console, here I can go to the storage. I can see there is one volume that is XVDA. Okay. And the volume size is of 8 GB, which is being here. Okay, that looks to be fine. So here, if I just go here, if I say df-ht, okay, here it shows me the entire configuration, right? So these are the different mount points which are being created. All of these are system related, basically. Okay. So here, if you look into this particular slash, then here you are able to see, okay, this is dev xvda1, okay, which I am able to see here as well, dev xvda. Okay, this is the partition number 1. So that's why it is 1. Okay, and this is like file system is XFS. This is of 8 GB. Use is 1.6 GB. 6.4 GB is available, and 20% is approximately used. And it is being mounted on the slash. Slash means root. Okay. Now what I need to do here, I go sudo su hyphen, and I am able to see it here. Right. Now what I need to do, I want to increase the size. Okay. To increase the size, what I will be doing here, I need to go to the console. Okay. And here I'll click on the volumes. So here I am onto the volume. Now I want to increase the size of it. To increase the size, I'll just go here. I'll say modify volume from 8 GB. I want to increase it to the 10 GB. Okay. Here I go, I say modify, and I click on modify. Okay. So now if I just refresh this here, I'm able to see the size of the EBS volume has been increased to 10 GB. Okay, that looks good. Now, what next I need to do? Here, if I go to the AWS console, although see, it shows in the optimizing state. Okay, but here, if I go onto the AWS console, okay, like it will be in the optimizing state for a while. I believe we already have discussed in previous session about the optimizing state, right? If if the volume is of 1 TB or like that, 1 TB, or I can say huge amount of uh, size, like huge size is of your volume, then it will take time. Okay, but if it is lower, then it should not take much time. Okay, quickly it should get finished. But that doesn't matter. Here we should be able to see the size, like the size has been increased. Okay, so here if I just go and here if I execute df-ht again, then see what happened. It shows, okay, your disk is still of 8 GB. Okay, notice that your volume is still of 8 GB only. Okay, so what is the possible option? How can you see if the size has really been increased or not? For that, what you can do, you can just go and say lsblk list block. So when you executed this list block, it shows you have a disk that is xvda and that is of your 8 GB. And if you look into this particular partition xvda1, which is being allocated to you, that is of 8 GB yet. So it means your disk size has been increased, but your partition size is same. Your partition size hasn't been increased. One more thing I would like to add you here is, here what we are doing, we are increasing the size of EBS volume, okay? Or I can say increase the size of EBS primary volume, I can say, okay? Primary means where the operating system is being installed, okay? So now, here I go. Now, in list block, I can see that, right? I can see this is of 10 GB volume. Okay, fine. So what we need to do, we need to execute the command. Which command we need to execute? We need to execute grow part. Okay, to increase the size of the primary volume. We'll be going here, we will say grow part, and our volume name is /dev/xvda, and the partition number is 1. Okay, and then what we'll do, we'll press enter. So as we pressed enter, then what will happen, then the partition 1 start this and this size has been changed from this to this new this. Okay, this has been changed. Now what next we need to do, we need to execute xfs, okay, as the uh, file system is xfs, right? So we will be executing xfs underscore growfs, okay, -d, and which is the device name, that is slash means we want to increase the size for root. Okay, and here I will say enter. So once I say enter, it says data blocks change from this to this. Now let's go here, say df-ht, press enter. Now we are able to see the partition size has been increased from 10 GB to from 8 GB to 10 GB. Do you have any questions? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, boy. I was just
Okay.
mute.
Any questions?
No. So the commands we gave was just to change the data inside the operating system.
Right, you are right. Okay, whenever what we are doing here, we can modify the size from the console, but at the operating system, there are certain commands which we need to execute to increase the size. And these operations frequently happen in any organizations.
So what if we do these commands without changing the volume from EC2 before? It doesn't change anything, right? It probably give us error. Like if we don't change anything on our AWS console.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. If volume is not available, you'll not be able to extend it, right? Okay, it will not get extended. Okay, so volume size, absolutely you will have to increase from AWS console. Then only these commands will work.
All right.
Okay, now next is, this is how to increase the volume in Linux. Let me do one thing similarly. Okay, let me launch one Windows instance and let me try to show you there. Okay, similarly for primary volume. To do that, here I'll go launch instance. Here I will say Windows EC2. Okay, and I want to have the Windows. In Windows, I want to launch one. Okay, 2016 base we have available. Okay, I'll be using 2016 base. I'll scroll down. I'll be using it on t2.micro, although it will be a bit slow, but that is fine. We should be fine. Same KPI we will be using. Security group do we have? We don't have any security group. I'll create one security group. Okay, I will click on edit and I'll say Windows SG, Windows security group. Same description I can pass. Okay, RDP we are allowing from anywhere. Port number 3389. RDP works. 30 GB of GP2 or GP3 we can attach anything. Okay, I'll be using GP3. GP3 is like in terms of costing, GP2 and GP3 are a bit same. Okay, but it provides you better throughput and IOPS basically. So here I go and I say launch one instance. I go. Let me change its name as well. Web server, let me say Linux, so that we can identify this was for Linux. This is for Windows. Now, what do we need to do? We need to connect with this instance. How will we connect? We will be connecting it using MSTSC or RDP, okay, or remote desktop connection, anything we can call it out. So now this is the IP address and we'll be clicking on connect. Okay, now it is asking for username and password. By default, username is administrator only. Okay, but while you will be retrieving the password, then also you can see it will be administrator only. So I will be putting the administrator as a username. Now, what next I need to do is I need to retrieve the password. So to retrieve the password, here I can go. There are two ways to retrieve it. The one is I can go to the actions and security, and then we have get Windows password. Okay, at this moment of time, it is asking for some time, and once in a while, we should be able to retrieve the password. Okay, let me get this cancelled. Let's wait for a while, and then we'll be Windows password. Okay, fine. Let's give it a minute, and then we'll retrieve the password. Okay. So now I believe we can give it a try one more time. Here I'll go security, get Windows password. Okay, now it looks to be good. Now, if I just have a look, okay, here we have something to upload the private key file or other option is what we can do, we can directly paste the file. So anything is fine. So maybe I can click on upload private key file. Here I go. I will go to the desktop. In desktop, we have this key pair, and here we have abdul.pem, right? I can load this. So if I load this, then also it is showing up here only. If I'll be deleting this, okay, then other option is I can just go here. Okay, here we have abdul.pem, right? I'll be opening this. So okay, once I open this, here we have Control A, Control C. I'll be copying this, and after copying, here I'll go. Sorry, not here, to the AWS console. I can paste it out here. Both things are same. So now I'll be decrypting the password. So once I decrypt the password, here we can see username is this and password is this. Okay, username is administrator by default and the password is this. Here I go. I will be pasting this. I will say okay. Once I click on OK, I should be able to get logged in into our Windows EC2 instance. There is one thing I would like to recall is for Windows EC2 instance, whenever we are provisioning the EC2 instance initially, okay, we need to have this password. Later on, what we will do, we will get this Windows EC2 instance joined in an Active Directory domain if we are really working in a mid-term or a big organization. Okay, in those, all these EC2, all these Windows EC2 instances should be running into the Active Directory. So there we need to get these machines domain into the Active Directory, and once those are being added into the Active Directory, then we are not required to use these credentials which we retrieve now. Okay. Then their domain admins and enterprise admins should be able to log in with their credentials, and that should work. They should be able to handle it accordingly because their policies, password policies, okay, so many USB block policies and so many other policies, right? All those will get applicable. Okay, maybe in fact, through group policies into the Active Directory, they can apply these desktop backgrounds, all these things as well. Okay, so everything will get applied. For example, they want to install any software, so with the help of group policy, okay, they can get this installed. So all these things are being there. Do you have any questions here?
No, but I got it.
Okay, fine. The next is here we are. So now if I just go, so I need to go to the disk management. Okay. So to go to the disk management, here I go. Let me try to search this disk management if I'm able to find. Okay, it shows no. Okay. Let me do one thing. Okay, although we can go to this PC and then manage, and that way we can go to the disk management, but I would like to take a shortcut here. And what I will say disk mgmt.msc, and I will press enter. So once I press enter, then it should open the disk management console for me. Okay, so here I am able to see there is one disk that is of 30 GB. Okay, here also I can see. And in fact, if I go here to File Explorer, okay, File Explorer, here if I go to this PC, I should be able to see one disk. Okay, one disk of 30 GB is being here. Now what I want to do is, I want to increase the size of this, right? That's what we discussed. That is our task. To do that, here I will go to the storage, and okay, now I'll go to this particular volume. This is the Windows EC2, right? 30 GB. I will be selecting this out. I will again go to modify volume. And now I will be saying like increase this to 35 GB. And here I go, I will be clicking on modify and will click on modify. Now the volume is being updated from 30 to 35 GB. I can just go here, and here if I go, here it remains same. In fact, I refresh it, it is same. If I just go to the disk management here, and if I refresh it here, it is a refresh here. Do we have any? Okay, yeah, this is the refresh. Yeah, if I refresh here, it shows 30. Your volume, your disk size is of 35 GB, but your volume is of 30 GB only, and this 5 GB is unallocated. Okay, so here what you can do, you can right click here and you can say extend volume. Okay, next. So now here you have the disk which is being available. So what you can do, you can increase the size, entire volume you can get it increased. Okay, so what will happen, your volume will get increased up to 35 GB. But for example, if you don't want to increase it completely, but you can do, okay, maybe 2 GB only I want to increase. Okay, so what I will do, I will say 2119 or 2024, whatever I want to define. Okay, so I have defined this particular space, select the amount of space in MB. I have selected this. Okay, I will say next and I will say finish. Okay, so now what will happen? Earlier it was 30 GB, right? Now it has been extended to 32 GB. Okay, that's what I have done here. If I'll be refreshing it here, then here I can see it is of 32 GB. So now if I want to create another volume from here, okay, I can right click, I can say new simple volume, I will click on next. I will again go and maybe if I want to create of 3000 MB, I can create. If I want to create for 2000 MB or 1000 MB, that also I can do. Okay, but I'll be creating one only, that is, and will be mounting it as a D drive. I will be clicking on next. I will say next and I will say finish. So now we have one more volume and its drive letter is D. So if I just go here, I am able to see one more volume of 2.92 GB is being created here. Do you have any questions here from Windows or Linux related to increase of size of primary EBS volume?
No, I got it. Bye.
Okay, fine.